Hello and welcome back to Movie Micah. Today, I'm giving my top 15 favorite movies of all time. It's been quite a while since I've given you just my favorite movies, so that's what we're doing again here today. But before then, I just want to mention the huge success on my previous video that got over 4,000 views at the time of recording this. That was great to see, and I'm just really happy about that. Got a lot of new viewers from that video, so welcome to the channel. But now, let's get into my favorites list. At number 15 is The Avengers. Here we go again, starting off the list with a Marvel movie, but I just couldn't leave this off the list. One of my most rewatched movies ever, and it's never not entirely entertaining. It's the first film that was a true culmination in a larger movie universe. As a big fan of these characters, this movie is still incredible. The way that all of them have different personalities and come from completely different places, but combined together in this movie is still a huge accomplishment, and I think this is what launched the era of superhero movie dominance. It changed the last decade of movies in a big way, and it's still one of the most impressive films of all time to me. Number 14 is going to be Silence. While watching this movie, it makes me feel sick. It's just not a pleasant time, and it haunts you with the questions it brings up. This is all because it really puts you in these horrible situations with the characters. You have to think for yourself what you would do if you were in the movie. It's psychological torture. So I was conflicted if I wanted to put this on my favorites list, but it's a movie that really connects deeply. And I think it's the best movie that has tackled the question, is God there or not? That'll always be a question for everyone on Earth, even the people with the strongest faith. I've seen this film twice now, and I don't know if I'll ever want to see it again, but Martin Scorsese made the most thought-provoking film of all time in this. Number 13 is Get Out. One of the greatest thrillers ever made, giving hints about weird stuff going on but not revealing anything until the perfect moments. I find the concepts incredibly interesting and the humor mixed in perfectly. It's an amazingly clever movie in many ways, but it's on this list just because of how much it made me care. In the film, the characters go into the sunken place, where they can't control what they do. And that's what it felt like watching this movie. It felt like I was hypnotized and had no choice but to keep watching the movie. It got me completely invested more than any other, so it's gotta be on this list. Number 12 is Do the Right Thing, a movie that's consistently and simultaneously thought-provoking, dark, fun, and full of style. It's just one summer day in this city, but each interaction and each character introduce new conflicts and ideas that all lead up to the final confrontation. Each scene is entertaining but important, and each character has real personality and serves a purpose. It's amazing how every scene points to one thing in some way, and that's what makes it great. For me, this is a movie that anyone can watch and enjoy. Whether you've never seen a movie before or you're a full-time critic, this movie is for everyone, and it really is perfect. 11 is Whiplash. This is the movie on the list that I need to rewatch the most, but I still remember almost everything about why I love it. It's intense pretty much the whole time, it explores themes of ambition and becoming great very well, and the acting from J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller puts it to the next level. I think it's fascinating because we're watching this character lose his mind over becoming the best drummer throughout the movie, and by the end, it seems like he's on track to get what he wants. But it ends there. It doesn't fully conclude where the story goes because there's only one way for it to go. Maybe he'll succeed, but it won't be worth it. Incredible themes for an incredible movie. In the top 10 is The Irishman, another movie about the downfall of the main character. In this case, it's a whole life story of this person who got trapped in a life he didn't want. He had no choice, and we see his regret by the end. What makes it so much more fascinating, though, is how it's really the ending to Scorsese's mob movie saga. Sure, Goodfellas, Casino, The Departed, they're all great films, but The Irishman shows a whole different perspective of how that type of life gave no benefits to Frank Sheeran in the long run. It's an honest tragedy instead of presenting it like a dream life. It feels like the culmination of everything Scorsese ever made, and it's worthy of being his best film in my opinion. Some of the best character development of all time. Number 9, I have Monsters, Inc., a film that basically sums up everything great about Pixar. This is a classic that nobody can dislike, with a great character duo, a super creative concept, with a fantastic story filled with heart too. I think it's everything that made early Pixar movies great rolled into one movie. For a long time, this was my favorite animated movie for that reason. Monsters, Inc. will never get old. It's the most creative idea for a movie that has ever been made, and it doesn't do anything wrong in the execution. It's perfect. Number 8 is Braveheart. This film hit me harder than any other. There are plenty of reasons people wouldn't like this nearly as much as I do, and that's fine, but I can't deny the impact this had on me both times I watched it. To me, it is probably the most inspiring film of all time. It's the message that it's better to die for what you believe in than to give in and lose what you believe. William Wallace in this film accepted his punishment to show how strongly he fought for the freedom that he would never even get to experience. That's what makes the ending one of my favorites ever. The lead up to all that is pretty amazing too. The war scenes are incredible, and there are quite a few great characters too. But it's the heart of this movie that puts it in my top 10. At number 7, I have Everything Everywhere All at Once. A movie that came out this year that I truly believe is one of the most unique and special films of all time. The concept of the multiverse is going to be very heavily used in years to come, but none of those movies are going to beat this. This film uses the concept to its fullest. It has so much ambition in how it uses the multiverse, in its visual style, and its larger-than-life themes. It's so insane and wacky and nonsensical as it shows a bunch of different worlds, yet through all of it, it tells a beautiful human story. I mean, this movie was made for me. It's a multiverse movie that explores the meaning of life in the most insane way possible, and then comes full circle to show a powerful, meaningful story of a family. Honestly, this could get even higher on the list with more time. At number 6, I have The Tree of Life. It's interesting to talk about this right after Everything Everywhere because they're almost kind of similar while being completely different. They're both extremely large in scope and ambition while also showing a small human story. But this might just be even more special in some way. It doesn't even feel like a movie. It feels like all of life shown in 2 hours and 20 minutes. No other film can do what this one did. It captures the entire human experience in some unexplainable, otherworldly way. It may seem like the movie is sort of random at times, yet you can feel that it's all completely purposeful. After watching this, it's like there are no limits to what a movie can do. The Tree of Life is like the culmination of every movie ever made, and it's the best movie ever made. At number 5 is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Return of the King is the masterpiece and my favorite of these, but it's the entire trilogy that makes it one of the greatest things in movie history. It is everything you could want from any movie. It has the amazing characters who all get arcs and backstories and heroic moments, a huge grand story with clear stakes that you're always aware of, great world building and visuals to always make it feel like you're in this world, some great action here and there, and a perfect finale. This trilogy did everything right when adapting from the books. And overall, it's crazy that they've got this world to come to life so perfectly. You can't not appreciate the work that went into every scene of this trilogy. It's one of the best stories ever told. Number 4, I have The Shawshank Redemption. I don't know what can be said about this film. I love it for its characters, themes about hope, and simple but beautiful story. It's a movie everyone should watch, and it is literally flawless. That's all I can say. Shawshank is a timeless classic that should always be on everyone's favorite list. At number 3, I have Cars, a movie that never deserved to be treated as a joke. It's such an innocent, enjoyable film that's been with me my whole life, and its charm never fades. I think I could watch this any day without getting tired of it. The soundtrack is one of the best ever, and the movie is just full of heart. To me, this was never a step down for Pixar whatsoever at the time. It was just them doing something more simple, and I think it's their best film ever. I will never not love Cars. It's officially in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. My runner-up is Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. These two films together are the biggest cinematic achievement in history. Together, they are one gigantic third act and conclusion to a 20-movie era. There was nothing more exciting than seeing this universe come together as all the characters united in one movie in Infinity War. The interactions and balancing of characters is incredible. On top of that, there were real stakes. Half of the heroes died in this. But you all know me for loving Endgame even more. It's a movie for the fans only. The payoff that came after 10 years of movies cannot be matched. Of course, I just made 2 Marvel videos back to back, so that's where I'll leave this. These movies together will always be very special for being the best possible ending to my favorite movie universe. Today, La La Land is my favorite movie. I mean, this isn't a movie I expected to love as it is a musical, but now after 4 watches, it's just the best thing I've watched. It gets more powerful every rewatch too. Damien Chazelle is one of the best in Hollywood at just exploring a theme and saying exactly what he wants to say. Through this story, he asks a question to every audience member about sacrifice. What are we going to have to sacrifice in this life? Because we can't have everything. Every part of this movie is wonderful in some way. It's enjoyable and heartbreaking put together. And that ending is the best 10 minutes in cinema. When I'm watching this film, no other movie matters. So it's my number one right now. So thanks for watching, everyone. That was my top 15 favorite movies ever made. Nothing too weird about this video. Totally didn't move locations every single clip. But there you go, that's my updated top 15. Also, just in the time that it took me to film this video, the video that I mentioned at the beginning went from 4,000 to 6,000 views. So that's crazy. It just decided to pick up again, and well, that's amazing. And throughout this video, I linked a lot of my previous videos. That's because those are video essays about some of these favorite movies that I just talked about. I go a little bit more in depth with those ones, so go check those out if you want more thoughts on these movies. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.